Hello world, I'm Clinton, the concerned netizen, and today I'm going to answer a question properly that I did not answer properly a few days ago when it came up. I was talking to a friend of mine about my YouTube channel and what I do and what I'm all about, and she asked me, Clinton, do you think we're living in a computer simulation? And right off the cuff, my answer was no, no. And a little later, I was walking to the bus and I thought to myself, wait a minute, don't you have an entire video series, Silicon and Charybdis, telling exactly the story of how computer simulation took over so much of the reality as it constitutes itself to people in our postmodern world? Isn't your entire shtick explaining that yes, more and more the world is being simulated within computers, and that has powerful potential for the naive who surrender to the advice of what a computer screen tells them? Isn't that your whole shtick? So I guess I need to properly answer the question, are we living in a computer simulation, by refining what that term means. Because when she asked it, my naive interpretation was the whole Matrix thing, reality itself is generated by computers. It's this repackaging of just this religious notion of there being realms above and below our plane from which we are manipulated, and all of this is an illusion, right? No, that's not what I'm getting at. And McLuhan talks a lot about how that perception can happen, but we'll get to that later. When it comes to, do we live in a computer simulation? Yes, we do, insofar as we are trained, we have this perception that what is presented to us, what is modeled on a computer, what is measured and statistically analyzed through numbers and through sensors and modeled within a computer, and insofar as how interfaces, how what's on a screen and how we use things pretends to be real physical material objects, just like real physical objects throughout. Skeuomorphism is the term for that. Yes, we are living in a computer simulation, and especially so when you do not train and educate your senses to see through the superficial appearances of things down to the material reality of what a computer is as a mechanical device, more or less. These circuits which are flickering and propagating changes across, which happen to adhere to abstract logical notions and happen to map very nicely to ideas of information flowing and sending and receiving data, and all these metaphors which don't explain the actual physical material reality, but which are intuitive enough for us to make use of these machines without understanding how they work. Yes, you are living in a computer simulation, and if you don't have the source code, if you can't look underneath the appearances of your apps, if you don't have the source, if you don't have the code to go change the program, to go, own your computer and make it do what you want to do, to go pay someone to change it for you, even, right? You don't have to know computer programming to own your computer. If you use free software, capital F, free software, then you have access to the source code. You can go pay a programmer to change to do what you want it to do, right? You have power over the machine that you bought. The physical machine box you bought can be made to do whatever a computer can do if you have power over it. But most people use proprietary, closed source, unfree software, and they're forced to use the computer however it was made for them, and that's it, right? And some company out there has the contract on it, and they can change it or not, and that's mostly the state of the world right now. So by being completely out of touch with the material, actual, tangible reality of what the computer is, you are helpless but to live in the simulated interface which is provided or afforded for you. Hope that clears things up. Maybe just complicated things more, but please answer in the comments below whether I've been unclear or whether that's sorted things out. Coming up for the channel, there's going to be the third episode of my series, Media Ecology for the Online Community as Classroom, where I look at the works of German architectural historian Siegfried Giedion. His two books, Mechanization Takes Command, and the first one, Space, Time, and Architecture, which were hugely influential on Marshall McLuhan. This whole idea of the material world becoming all fake, right? Everything's fake, nothing's real anymore, right? It's all superficial, man. Well, that notion is 300 years old, according to Siegfried Gideon. We're going to analyze his notion of anonymous history, of the history of the environment of machines and gadgets and architectures and buildings and all of our human-made rebellion against the natural world which we evolved in, and how its history itself illuminates who we are, and how that can be applied, how I am applying it here to computers with my notion of full stack media ecology. So that's coming up. If you're excited for that, subscribe to this channel and check out my website, concernednetizen.com. More great stuff coming on the way. Take care.